by that time, when they do actually distill it, that's where you get the smoothness for. So I mentioned this a number of times on the episode. I'm going to repeat it again. When you see a clear bottle, it's usually a Blanco or a silver or something like that, which is this. And that means it's not aged. So they haven't put it into a barrel for it to kind of settle and infuse different flavors from the oak in the barrel. For something to be as smooth as this, straight out of like the distillery, it just goes to show, you know, how important that agave sort of harvesting is.
Interesting. So what you're saying is the cacti agave, what's the difference in agave and a cactus? Is it the same?
Two different plants.
Two different plants.
Yeah. Cactus is the ones that kind of go up into the air. Agave is like a little, think of like a little porcupine, but like a fruit. Yep.
Interesting, yeah.
And so it's actually really cool to see how they harvest that, because they'll have, I mean, which actually kind of brings us to how tequila got started. So, tequila, it was first started in 1758. So over 250 years.
A little bit more?
Yeah, go for it.
1758.
So Jose Cuervo is the oldest tequila company in the world. Yeah, thanks, bro. Is the oldest tequila company in the world.
Okay.
And what happened was back in Mexico. Cheers again.
Thank you.
Back in 1758, Jose Antonio de Cuervo was given the rights by King Ferdinand VI to produce to get the land to be able to produce tequila and be able to grow agave.
Did they know about it already, sort of? Or?
Well, back in years, Mexico has always had this in like family traditions and generations, where they've had their own little agave and then made their own little distillery. But this was the first one at scale where someone's giving land on ownership, because remember, the Spanish came in and, you know, they took over Mexico, you know, to what it is. So the king then gave grants to indigenous Mexicans to be able to actually have ownership of land, to be able to produce something like this. So this went on, and then in 1795 it was King Carlos. He issued a decree from Spain on the license to be able to actually distill and distribute tequila. So first it went from having ownership of land to actually grow the agave. Then 1795, they were given a decree, hey, now you can start distributing it and creating it. And that was coming off the back of Prohibition.
Oh, wow.
So they weren't allowed to do any of this. And then times have changed.
Prohibition back then too, eh?
Back then, yeah. Wow. Yep. And then, so that was taken care of. That was the first license they produced. And then 1800, I did the first episode of Tequila High Club. We had 1800 Reposado. 1800 is considered as kind of like the first time when tequila was ready. It was the first time when barrels were actually really ready. So in 1795, they got started, and then 5 years later, they started playing with the first barrels were coming out. And then it was 1812 was the actual first distillery that officially got started. And that's when Jose Cuervo, their distillery, got started. So that's when the company really started growing.
But they've like exported it probably back to Spain and throughout Europe, or?
No, so they kept it within Mexico, and then they started exporting it to California. So 1852 was the first export to California, to America. So, and that's really where it kind of started taking off, and tequila this day is all because of Jose Cuervo, of what they've done. So it goes a little bit further. So Jose Cuervo, so usually, and you would have seen this back in movies where, if it's whiskey or moonshine, it's always in big barrels, right?
Yeah.
So Jose Cuervo is the first company to individually bottle tequila in bottles like this. And it made it easier to transport, easier to sell. People could get smaller amounts, but bigger cases, very easy for them to sell off as well.